So, welcome to Colonia High School. I'm Joe Lacavara, and we're here for a wrestling match between the Colonia Patriots and the John F. Kennedy Mustangs. And we'll get started right away at 106 pounds, where Joe Caroccio from Colonia against Luke Tolley of JFK. And Caroccio quickly took Tolley down and put him right to his back here with only 1:37 left to go in the first period. He's in a good position to get a pin. And there you go, with 1:32 left to go. The first match is over quickly. That's a pin. That's worth 16 points. And, you know, some of the scoring, you'll have a fall, which is worth 16 points. Tech fall, which is 15 points or more. The match will stop immediately, and that's 5. Major decision is 4, that's 8 points or more, and a regular decision less than 8 points is 3. At 113 pounds, we have Dylan Harvat from Colonia. He's a 9th grade first-year wrestler, and Marcus Crespo from John F. Kennedy. He took 4th in the Del Val tournament this year. He's 7-6 as a freshman, and he's the only freshman wrestler with experience on the Kennedy team, and he shows you that experience with a quick headlock to take the Colonia wrestler to his back with 1:41 to go in the first period, and quickly lifts the head and gets the fall for a quick 6 back at Colonia. So that will knock the score up at 6-6 as teams trade pins. And quickly we go up to 120. At 120 pounds, Colonia, I think, does not have a wrestler listed on the roster here. So 120 pounds will be Ben Fluitt, a sophomore and second-year wrestler, 4-7 for Kennedy. He'll come out and take a forfeit, I believe. And he looks puzzled, but he got his hand raised for a forfeit. And so that'll then give 6 points, similar to the pin for Kennedy, and that makes the score 12-6. And then at 126 pounds, Colonia will need to send the wrestler out first. And this appears to be, I hope I'm getting the right wrestler here. I believe this is Luis Marquez. He's 4-1 and a senior. He's a 3rd-year varsity wrestler. And I'm sorry, that's apologize again. Nabil Kasim is the Kennedy wrestler, and the Jabril Abdul-Al is the Colonia wrestler. He was 2-2 last year at 120, was Abdul-Al. And Fluitt is a sophomore, second-year wrestler, 4-7. Nabil Kasim. I'll get it right yet. So you'll see, like, as the pace slowed down a little bit here in the third match. In the first period, the wrestlers start out on their feet for 2 minutes, and they'll each try to get a takedown, which is worth 2 points. Once on the mat, a wrestler can score a point for an escape, getting back neutral, facing each other, or can reverse position from the bottom to the top, and that's worth 2. The top wrestler will try to score a takedown. Now there you see Nassim quickly with a takedown, and right to his back goes Abdullah. And there's your 2-point takedown. And on the back, a count of 3 or more is worth 3 back points, and less than 3 will be only 2. So we had the referee there called the 2 takedown for Kennedy with 3 back points, and then a 2-point reversal for Abdullah from Colonia. So the score is 5-2 in favor of Kennedy, but Kennedy is on bottom because of the reversal at the end. So there's an example of almost all the scoring right in one match. And Abdullah quickly, the Kennedy wrestler quickly gets up and gets 1-point escape, and now he's up 6-2 with 32 seconds to go in the first period. So on their feet, you see each wrestler tries to work on the inside control as they either look for a leg or a throw from an upper body position to try to get the 2-point takedown. So you see a lot of hand fighting, and Cassiem gets another quick ankle pick for a 2-point takedown with the score 8-2 with just 3 seconds to go as they're wrestling on the edge. And time runs out. And looks like the choice goes to Colonia this period. And Colonia is going to take the bottom, down 6 points. A lot of times the wrestler who's behind will choose the bottom position to try to be in a more advantageous position to score some points. So off the whistle, Abdullah gets flattened out by Kassim. And quickly, Abdullah back to his feet. Kassim tries to lock him up and bring him back down. And he lifts and pulls him back. Good job there by Kassim. Abdullah is going to try to come back to his feet. He's then parallel, turns and faces. Quickly in on a single. And let's see if Abdullah can get a takedown back and try to close the gap here. And there's a 2-point reversal. There was never an escape, so what happens is there's 2-point reversal for a change of position. And now Abdullah was down by 4, 8-4. As Kassim gets to his feet, turns and faces for one. 1:02 to go in the period. It's a 9-4 score in the second period. Abdullah fights off Kassim's shot there, and Kassim back to his knees. He's maybe looking for that same ankle pick that he had 2 takedowns earlier in the first and second period. He's got that cross wrist control. Now he's working on the head. AC pulls back and pushes in and tries to create an opening, but not working out there as they go out of bounds. 33 seconds to go in the second period. 9-4 for the Kennedy wrestler. Off the whistle, 30 seconds. Both guys looking a little more tired here, but still hand fighting as Kassim drops in and shoots in the low single. And he's going to try to use that to get a takedown, and he uses that leverage to take Abdullah down, gets 2, and quickly now works up for hopefully a fall position. He's trying to get that half Nelson up under the left arm. He's got the now controlling that left arm, and inside cradle here as the time runs out. So 11-4 is the score. 7-point advantage for Kennedy. Kassim, he gets the choice, so he'll take bottom to start the period and hopefully pile up some more points. He's 1 point away from a major decision, which is extra team points. So off the whistle, Kassim starts to come up. Good hand control. He turns and faces, and that's a 1 point for a 12-4 lead. Quickly shoots in. He gets his head caught in the middle. He's going to try to push the hips to the mat and then work his way up on Abdullah. See, Abdullah is going to try to keep his hips square and face Kassim. But Kassim does a good job of turning the corner and getting his 2-point takedown. Score is now 14-4. So he's got a 10-point lead and a major decision now for the team score. As he tries a crossface, which rolls through, no back points because there wasn't exposure long enough. Back points are awarded once either wrestler gets the back past 90 degrees and the referee counts at least for a 1 count is worth 2 points. And then up to 3 will be 2. After 3, it's a 3-point near fall. And nobody getting anything here. We're still stuck with Kennedy up top, but he looks like he's looking to lock up a cradle there on that far side. He's got the crossface. He's running that head to the knee, and if he could lock it up. But Abdullah, good job fighting it off. He's fighting with the hands, which is making it hard for Kassim to lock it up. And he's not giving away anything easily. We have the cradle now locked up here on the near side. 15 seconds to go in the third period. See if Kassim could bring it back, but no, Abdullah breaks the lock. Still 14-4. And quick to a half Nelson, but Abdullah is fighting out of that as time runs out. So the match ends 14-4, which is a major decision. 14 points for Kennedy, which makes the score 16-6 for Kennedy as we go up to the 132-pound weight class. At 132 from Kennedy, we have Luis Marquez, 4-1 as a senior, third-year varsity wrestler. I apologize, I think I got the wrong guys. This is Nabil Kasim. He's a freshman. He's taking a forfeit there, which puts the team score another 6 points up to 22, and the prior match was Luis Marquez. He's a senior at 4-1 this year. So now we're up at 132, where we have Ian Coleman, who's a junior from Kennedy. He's 8-3 this season. He's a 58-26 career wrestler. He's been twice second in the district. And Christian Rivera, senior, first-time varsity wrestler for Colonia. So quickly, you see Coleman, the more experienced wrestler, looks like he's confident in his position, gets in close, drops down, and quickly gets the 2-point takedown, and then starts to work on that wrist ride as he gets that right arm and bars it up, and you can see he knows what he's doing with that. So he throws a half Nelson, but also switches off here and there for the wrist control. And quickly, what he does there is tries the pinning position with the bar and wrist, and does a good job of getting the referee, I think, counted at least. Oh, there you go. He counted 3 back points, but now reloads it and comes back for the pin. 1:04 to go in the first period, and Coleman shows his experience there as he's able to get another pin for Kennedy, and that pushes the team score up to 28-6. Kennedy over Colonia as you move up to 145 pounds. 145 pounds for Colonia will be Michael Torres. And from Kennedy will be, I believe we have here George Kervaldez, a senior. He's 4-5. He'll take a forfeit. Kennedy, it won't be Michael Torres. I guess Michael Torres is going to bump up in weight. Or not sure. I think this is Justice Harris at 152, and at 152 for Kennedy, I believe this is Joe Small. He's a sophomore. It's his second year wrestling varsity, and he's 3-8. Justice Harris is a senior, but also a first-time varsity wrestler. So Harris quickly shoots in on a single and is able to turn that in to a takedown. And then it rides him off the mat as Small tries to fight his way out of that. And jumps up, runs back to the center, gets set quickly. And Harris gets set back on top. And quickly controls the arm off the whistle. That's the important point. He's grabbing that arm. It makes a tough time for Small to get off the bottom. As Small comes up, he throws that half. Now he's going to ride the half with the far wrist. He's got to get out to the side. If he's not out to the side working for the fall, he could get called for stalling, which is worth a warning at first. After the first warning, there's then 2 penalty points. A third warning would result in 2 points, and actually the fourth warning would be a disqualification. Those are some more of the penalty points we could see throughout the match. So Small doing a good job of trying to work his way up, as Harris isn't able to work much after the 2-point takedown. He is able to control the ride, but not much else happening as they're fighting for control here. You can see the wrist control is really what's doing it for Harris to keep him in front. As Small, real tough, turns around and grabs that leg, and Harris is not able to fight him off as the referee signals a 2-point reversal for Kennedy. So now Small is in control with 27 seconds to go in the first period. of a 2-2 match. So right now you have Kennedy in control. And he does a good job of spinning behind and maintaining control. And now he throws his own half. He's wrestling from his knees. Both guys here would do themselves a favor to get off their knees a little bit more, as it will force the other wrestler to take all that weight on. Time runs out, so 2-2 after a first period, pretty evenly matched. The choice goes to Colonia, and Colonia chooses neutral. So the wrestlers can choose neutral, top, or bottom. We didn't see too many second periods yet today, but so there, the Colonia wrestler chose to start from his feet. Feels more comfortable wrestling there as he got the takedown, and when he was on top, he was reversed. So he doesn't feel comfortable on the bottom. So both wrestlers work in the inside position. And a little bit of hand fighting. You see the head taps as somebody tries to create an opening for a shot. Looks like Harris is working the inside control better. And he snaps Small down and spins behind. I think the referee awarded 2, but it wasn't very definitive. But I see the 2 go up on the mat. And so it's still 4-2 for Colonia with the 2-point takedown additionally. But definitely contentious position here as they still have control. So potentially dangerous is the call by the referee there with one hand behind the head. There's no penalty points. It's just a dangerous position, and to prevent anybody from getting hurt, they'll stop the action and move everything back to the center. If he held 2 hands behind his head, that's a penalty point. So we get set, and off the start, you see Small come right back to his feet, and then Harris quickly lifting and dumping him back. And once again, he's working that half and the chop from Small. And Harris is back on the wrist ride. Still doesn't seem like he's having too easy of a time to try to turn Small, and Small then fights in on that leg again, as Harris gives it up and gives him a 1-point escape. So now the score is 4-3. Colonia is ahead by 1 after the escape point he gave away. 22 seconds to go in the second period. And Small will have choice in the third period, which puts him in a position to put himself where he feels comfortable to start that period, which I think would be down. 7 seconds to go, still the same. Both guys work. Small's working that inside position off the head, but Harris does a good job to fight off and try to get a shot, but referee points up to the clock. Time ran out, and there are no points awarded. Kennedy's choice, and as predicted, he will choose bottom. So here we have Joe Small on the bottom. Harris will come set on top, and he's got a slim 4-3 lead in the third period. Off the whistle, not a lot of action. I think Harris has got that hand control, but we can't really see. Now, good job of maintaining his position. Not sure why Harris came around out front of Small. Really doesn't serve him any purpose, but Small's got him on the high ride, and he's trying to use that arm to pull him out of position and maybe try a roll. And instead of rolling him, he just gets 1 for the escape. So now we have a 4-4 match. 1:26 to go. It's anybody's match, and as Harris tries to adjust his headgear, Small goes for the takedown, but Harris fights him off quickly. So looks like Small is pushing the action, at least, coming forward. He's trying to make something happen. And right now, Harris is looking like he might be a little tired. So it's 1:03 to go in anybody's match right now, 4-4. As Small fights out, and Harris then backpedals into the center, and they'll restart here. 52 seconds to go. Inside position for Harris. And Small staying with the head, and then drops to a single. Switches to a double, but flattens out, and Harris can spin behind for 2. 36 seconds to go on that 2-point takedown. And Colonia's got a 6-4 lead. But once again, Harris high on the ride, so there's something there to be had if Small wants it. And he's got that wrist he's high on. Now he's got the arm. He's trying to spin out. Has a Peterson roll there. He has a couple of different moves, but he still has nothing been awarded. So he's 12 seconds to go. There's a one-point escape. So you see the team is real excited for Kennedy because he needs a takedown here to win. 6-5, 2 seconds to go. Small's really driving in hard, and time runs out. So Harris, in the third period, hangs on for the 6-5 victory over Joe Small of Kennedy. So that 3-point decision makes the team score. Ready? Makes the team score 9-34 in favor of Kennedy as we move up to 160 pounds. At 160 pounds for at 160 pounds for Kennedy, I believe this is Amadre Walker Bradley. I hope I got the right name there. It could be David Lee. Bradley is a 6'3" senior, transferred from Phillipsburg High School, and David Lee is a 9-1 senior, 3-year varsity. Sadowski is the wrestler for Colonia at 160. Christopher Sadowski, he's a 12th grader. He was 3-3 last season at 152. So after about 20 seconds of wrestling here, each guy feeling each other out as they go out of bounds. Off the restart, still some hand fighting. So it is Amadre Walker Bradley, since I heard the coach call his name out there. So we definitely have him as he a little straight up and down for that shot, but he gets off into that lateral drop position off the shot and tried for a quick trip, but wasn't there with Sadowski. So still 0-0 here. Bradley got the head and wrist, and he's on the inside. And so you see Sadowski trying to get back on that inside control. But Bradley doing a good job of establishing himself there. And then Sadowski drops down for the single, lifts it with the treetop, and then secures 2 points. So as he was going out of bounds, he managed to secure control and keep his 2 toes in, the referee calls. So that's a 2-point takedown for Sadowski. 47 seconds to go in the first period. So off the whistle, quick, he tries to chop the far arm to Sadowski, but Bradley does a good job of coming up to his feet. Sadowski drops for the leg, lifts it up and dumps again, and keeps control as they go out of bounds. 34 seconds to go. Keeping the 2-0 lead. Let's see if Bradley can score some points here as the period runs out. 34 seconds. So off the whistle, you see Bradley crawls forward a little bit as Sadowski tries to get a tight waist and chop an arm. Bradley doing a good job of hand control there. He's got both wrists, and you can see he comes up to his feet and turns and faces for one. 2-1, 17 seconds to go. Bradley still in the inside position, but he was here last time. Sadowski was able to drop to a single. So Bradley needs to get a little more offensive on his feet as he shoves Sadowski backwards. And then quickly on the outside single. And with the time running out, the referee does say he gets behind 2 for control. So Bradley, right at the end of the first period with that speed, gets a 3-2 advantage going into the second period. And Kennedy has the choice. So Bradley will start on the bottom where he just scored from. So off the whistle, you can see Sadowski then looks to chop that arm again off the tight waist. Bradley sort of splays out a little bit. But he does do a good job of getting control of the hands and making it difficult for Sadowski to work anything from the top. Without your hands, there's not much happening there. And you can see Bradley's got some experience in keeping him from being able to control from the top. He stops on one knee as he tries to get that hand control. You see he's going to try to step and turn. Sadowski controls that leg to try to keep him from spinning away. And Bradley takes that opportunity to turn and try to shoot in. Still control for Colonia, but looks like there should be a one-point escape there. But as they go off the mat, the referee says Colonia had control the entire time, so there's no change. Still 3-2 in favor of Bradley from Kennedy. 1:14 to go in the second period, and Sadowski will get set on top. Get the hand on the belly button and wrist and elbow as the whistle, and then you can see Bradley's right back on the hands again. Does a good job of that hand control. It's a big part of getting out and controlling the position from the bottom. So even though Sadowski's in a little bit more of a dominant position, like bulldogging this leg and trying to get around, he's really not working what he wants because of the way Bradley is on the legs. And quickly uses the speed to shuttle out, turn and face, and the referee calls 1-point escape for the neutral position. There was no takedown, he calls. So that makes the score 4-2 for Bradley. 42 seconds and we're neutral. So with the 2-point lead, now let's see if Bradley can capitalize from the neutral position. This is where he gave up a takedown in the first period to go down early. He did a good job of dominating the inside position, but didn't guard against the quick shot from Sadowski. And still some hand fighting here, but Bradley seems to be pretty much well set up on the inside, but as there's some pushing and shoving, nobody's really going on the aggressive. And there's that outside shot again. Switches off to a double, but Sadowski quickly is able to get out of it and spin behind for a quick 2-point takedown. So right at the end of the second period, Sadowski gets that 2, and the match is 4-4. A tie match with Sadowski having the choice. He'll pick the bottom where he feels like he can get off the bottom. You see Bradley psyching himself up here. He knows he needs to make something happen here, tied up from the top. So as they start from the bottom, it looks like there's a locking hand. So you're not allowed to lock completely around the waist, either on an arm or a complete hand lock. And the referee calls a 1-point penalty for Colonia for the locked hands. So now it's 5-4, and looks like the coach is calling for Kennedy to give up a 1-point and allow Sadowski to get up, and that's what happens there. So it's basically a give up of 1 escape, and the score is 6-4 for Colonia. 2-point takedown here by Kennedy would tie it up. 1:33 to go in the third period. So there's another quick shot from Bradley, but he dumps it on his head rather than away from his head, and you can see Sadowski fights for that inside control, and it looks like as they go off the mat, he didn't control him. So nice sequence there for Bradley, but he wasn't able to score the point. Sadowski just did enough to keep him from scoring. So restart, 1:24 to go, and let's see, Bradley seems to have a lot left in the tank here in the third period. So he'll start, it looks like his setup is to move the action backwards towards him and then quickly shoot in. He's got the wrist and arm again, but there Sadowski then goes for the quick shot and quick toss to defend by Bradley. So they go off the mat, 1:04 to go. Still a 2-point lead for Chris Sadowski from Colonia. So now they're both reaching out. And you see Bradley still on the inside. Oh, there he moves out to the outside and down to wrist as he takes a step back. And there's the tap and the quick shot. He's in deep again, but Sadowski, good strength, good job fighting off those shots by Bradley. He gets a good deep quick shot, but Sadowski is fighting that off. And there's Sadowski, same quick shot, but the double underhooks from Bradley, and he fights them off as they go out of bounds. 6-4 still, 37 seconds to go. See if Sadowski can hold on to that 2-point lead. Both guys circling. No referee, no call for stalling yet, but both guys are fighting for position. You think maybe with the backing up, Sadowski could end up with a warning. 18 seconds to go. And there's a good shot off the wrist control for Bradley. Moving him forward with 9 seconds to go. He is trying to find that position. Gets in on the double, but not a great shot. Sadowski fights it off. And Sadowski holds on to the 2-point lead, 6-4. So that 3 points will give Colonia 12 team points to 34 for John F. Kennedy. So the team score is a 22-point difference as we move up to the 170-pound weight class. At 170 for Kennedy will be David Lee. He's 9-1 as a senior. He's been a 3-year varsity wrestler. And the wrestler for Colonia is, I believe, Alec Daniel. He's a senior and a first-year varsity wrestler. So you would think David Lee has the advantage here, and quickly he looks like he's got a little bit more on Daniel as he's controlling that head and kind of pushing Daniel around, trying to find an opening for his move. Daniel seems a little more reactive and unsure. Whereas there you go, David Lee works off the arm down to the single, and then off of that works behind, and without really a even firm shot, Lee gets a 2-point takedown. Keeps the cross wrist ride, and he'll try to use that wrist to get a pinning combination. So there he gets a crossface with the wrist, and he's going to try to run that across for the back points. And there you go. You see he rolled him through, and now he jumps to the opposite side, threads his arm through, and gets in a good pinning position. So now he's chest to chest here, David Lee is, as he tries to lift up and get in a good pinning position. And as the clock just gets to 58 seconds left in the first period, that's another pin for Kennedy, David Lee. 16 points sends the score to 40 for Kennedy to 12 for Colonia. So at 182, we have John Posnansky. He's ranked number 14 in the country this year as a junior, and last year as a sophomore was 3rd in the state. He took 3rd this year at the Beast in the East and lost to the champ by a score of 16-13. So he's very experienced, and he'll be wrestling Falzan Amjad, a junior. He's 1-3, but he's a first-year varsity wrestler. So then you could see quickly Posnansky uses that to his advantage. He spins behind, gets a takedown, and you can see he's really got Amjad under control here as he throws in a half from the leg position, and he's using that half to tilt him over, quickly settles into a pinning position, and in 26 seconds at 1:34 of the first period, see Posnansky gets himself another fall on the season, and that 6 points makes the score 18-40 for Colonia, and then we'll move up to 195. At 195, we have Kayshawn Lee Clausel. He's an 11th grader from transferred over from Woodbridge, and he's 7-2 this season. And we have Daniel Abreu, a freshman and first-year wrestler from John F. Kennedy at 195. So you could see another mismatch here. Well, the freshman wrestler against a junior who's got some experience. And that match is over in 8 seconds, an 8-second pin by Kayshawn Lee Clausel as he quickly gets his hand raised. That almost took longer than the whole match. So really capitalizing on the inexperience there and pushing the team score from 24-40. And we're at a point here where with only 12 points left on the table, we really can't get a win from Colonia, but at least makes the score look a little more respectable. So at 220, we have Jency DeLeon, a sophomore from Kennedy, and Tavion Ramey, a senior from Colonia. So off the whistle, you see Ramey goes high and low and gets a quick takedown and a crossface as they run out of bounds. Ramey is a big, powerful senior, but my understanding is he doesn't have that much wrestling experience. And Daniel Bray, who obviously is a freshman, and he is a first-year wrestler, so you could see his inexperience off that takedown. And Ramey quickly throws it a half and runs it around and exposes for back points. And boom, 1:39 to go in the first period, 21 seconds left, 21 seconds only for the fall there. So Ramey gets a fall, and the score is 30-40. As we'll move up to our last match at heavyweight. So once again, Colonia with the pins at the end of the match, making the score look respectable. So at heavyweight, we have Joe Grassi. He's a senior. That's 3-7 for Kennedy. And at heavyweight for Colonia, we have Jermaine Ellis. He's only a 9th grader in his first year on varsity, but he is 7-2 on the season. So while Ellis is a 9th grader, he does have a little bit of experience. And Joe Grassi is a 3-year varsity wrestler. So both guys with a little bit of experience, but you see Ellis quickly moving Grassi back off the mat and establishing his control. And basically pointing out to Grassi, hey, I can push you across this mat if I want to. So Grassi kind of just defending here as you get a little bit of aggressive positioning from Ellis. And then now they're starting to pummel for position here on the inside. And you see, I think what Ellis is looking to pull that head down of Grassi, and then when he pops up, maybe find an opening for a shot. I'm not sure Grassi has a good plan. He's wrestling defensively here, but I don't really see what shot he's looking for. So he's doing a good job of fighting Ellis out of the position that he's trying to get into. Grassi needs to find his position and find some offense. Still no score, 57 seconds to go in the first period. And still a little, the classic heavyweight slugfest, a little jostling back and forth, and both guys looking for a position, but these ones can end in a real hurry if somebody gets a good spot. So looks like a little bit of head slapping, and the headgear came loose, so we'll get a stoppage for that. Grassi adjusts the headgear and they restart. 36 seconds to go in the first period. Ellis still in the inside position, pulls down, but no opening for his shot. Grassi still hasn't really taken a shot, just setting up defensively here. But he is staying in the center and fighting him off. So neither guy really advancing the position. 10 seconds to go. I'd like to see somebody take a real nice shot at scoring some points here with 5 seconds to go. But so 0-0 as time runs out. It's Colonia's choice, so Ellis will have the choice and will pick bottom to start the period. So second period, Ellis is down. Grassi will get set on top. And off the whistle, you see Ellis starts right to his feet. He's got his hands free and quickly turns and faces. Grassi didn't put up too much of a fight to hold on to him. So now 1-0 for Ellis. And we're right back in that same position here. So Ellis has a lot established on the inside, but not really finding a shot. And Grassi is really playing a lot of defense. You know, he's hand fighting well and pummeling in for that inside position. But he's got to find a little more aggression, I think. But at 1-0, it's anybody's match. There you go. Ellis still fighting in. You see, he's pushing and pulling on the head, trying to find an opening for a shot. Just not sure what he's working. Is it a single or maybe something upper body? A little bit more hand fighting, and Ellis is back pulling on the head, and he pulls the headgear right off Grassi. So I don't know how you pull the headgear off without having a penalty point for grabbing the headgear, but here we have it. Looks like we're going to have a little headgear adjustment on the side. Maybe we got a new headgear as Ellis gets a little bit of water and coaching on the side. So it looks like Grassi has a new headgear. He'll head back out. So 52 seconds to go. 1-0. We're neutral in the second period. So off the whistle, we get back in, and Ellis back to work on the head position. And he's pulling down. Then he pulled a little bit on the singlet there, so I'm not sure if the referee's watching. He's pulled the headgear and the singlet, and no warnings or anything that I've seen. Still both guys pushing and pulling, not really finding any openings. You see Ellis is doing a lot of the pushing and shoving, but he's not really capitalizing on any of those openings that he's creating. And Grassi's just playing defense. He's not really, doesn't seem to be putting too much pushing or fighting for the inside position, but although he's got it right there when time runs out. So now we'll go to the third period. Colonia's got a 1-0 lead. Kennedy has choice, so he'll choose bottom. So the way this match has been going, if Grassi can get off the bottom and get 1 point, we could be headed for overtime. As neither wrestler has really been able to capitalize on the position from the feet. But off the whistle, at least with a wrist and sort of a tight waist, Ellis is controlling Grassi. Grassi kicks the leg back as Ellis then works up for maybe a half Nelson, but then quickly works back to the ankle again. And he shoves him out of the stalling red for the bottom. So what the referee's calling there is that the top wrestler is not trying to work for a fall, and he's just hanging back on the ankle and not progressing the position. So that's a warning for stalling. If he gets hit again, that would be a 1 point for Kennedy, which would be big here in a 1-0 match. So now 1:25 to go in the third period, and there's a caution on Colonia for the starting position. So the wrestler needs to have a hand on the belly button, hand on the near elbow with one knee down. And there's a caution for the starting position as off the whistle, Grassi crawls forward as Ellis stays on top with all his weight. And now as a sit out and turn, Ellis still is able to control Grassi and get on top. Now he's going to try to post that head down, but Grassi's doing a good job of not going anywhere. I think really what needs to happen is Ellis has got to get out to the side more like he is here and run that half Nelson. So he's out to the side now, flattens Grassi out, and Grassi comes back to his feet as they spin out of bound. Grassi looks like he's tired here, but I'm not sure. He may have hit his head down on the side. Didn't see him hit the floor, but he just may have came down hard on the mat there. So as there's a little bit of an injury here in this last match, we'll take a quick timeout. So we're back now as Grassi is attended to and comes back to get set. So just to recap, it's 47 seconds to go in the third period. Ellis from Colonia is up 1-0 on top of Grassi from Kennedy. So quickly off the whistle, Ellis is able to flatten out Grassi, who then comes back up to his feet, and while he's trying to turn and face, they go out of bounds. So we'll reset in the center now with 38 seconds to go. Still a 1-0 lead for Colonia. But you got to keep in mind here, too, Colonia has a warning for stalling. So if it would be a real big thing for Kennedy if they were to get another warning and then Grassi's able to get out. That would be the win. So Grassi's coming up to his comes up to his feet. He's on his feet and hands, but Ellis flattens him out there again. He's got to watch because he's in that riding position where he got called for stalling before, and I can't imagine that the referee wouldn't call it again. He's not really working for the fall as much as he's trying to hold Grassi, who rolls after the off the wrist roll. There's no call yet, but wrist roll for a 2-point reversal with 8 seconds to go. Grassi has a 2-1 lead as he tries to hold down Ellis. They run off the mat, and let's see what the final score is if there's no change. And it looks like the score is 2-1 for Grassi of Kennedy with that last-minute wrist roll and reversal to win the match, and no escape for Ellis, which would have led to overtime. So that's the final match, and at the end of 13 matches, the final score 46-30 for Kennedy over Colonia. I'm Joel Acavara. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.